Sandy Cavalier here. Today I want to go over some things that we did last week in class number 2, during this session at Circle Yoga. We talked about the health of the knees and how the lower leg muscles and the upper leg muscles cross over the knees, so keeping those muscle groups strong is important to health of the knees, not locking out the knees, pressing the knees back so far that there's no bend in the knee. Some people are hypermobile, which means their knee goes beyond 180 degrees straight, which is very unhealthy. Both locking out and hyperextending creates compression in the knee joint and can contribute to arthritis as well as knee pain. Tracking the knee over the second toe is the healthiest place for the knee to point, never collapsing in or bowing out. So we'll work some of those throughout the practice. And today we're going to review a healthy twist on your back, a healthy seated twist, some cat-cow just to loosen up the spine. Side plank, modified side plank, is a wonderful pose to encourage core strength and balance. The posture of just standing up straight, how to stand up straight, how to create a healthy posture on your mat and off your mat. We'll bring that into today's practice, and we'll do a little bit of balancing, a little bit of leg strengthening, and then 3 poses on the ground: pinwheel pose, Z pose, and a seated twist before resting with legs up the wall. All right, let's begin on your backs, knees bent, feet on the floor, to create a healthy twist. In a healthy twist, your spine is long and not rounded, so you want to lengthen your spine. Press your feet down and lift your hips up a couple of inches. Move them to the left 2 inches, maybe 3 inches, and put them back down. Then bring your knees into your chest and begin to take the knees opposite the direction you moved your hips. So in this case, we moved our hips to the left. We'll take the knees to the right. Arms can be out, elbows can be bent. See if you can bring your left shoulder opposite the knees to the floor. So only lowering the knees as far down as you can keep both shoulders on the floor with no low back discomfort. For me, I have an unstable SI joint on the right, so for my body, coming down no lower than this with my knees feels best. Also, hunt and peck and see how it feels to bring your knees close to your body or further from your body, and how that affects the feelings in your low back. A healthy twist happens right behind the heart area, the thoracic spine, not the low back. So hunt and peck and find your pain-free, satisfying twist. If you'd like to stretch the neck, you can look opposite the knees. So 3 to 5 breaths in a healthy twist. And when you're finished, coming up, roll the low back into the floor, put the feet down, bring yourself back to the middle, and then pick the hips up again, shift them 2 to 3 inches to your right, take the knees into the chest, and take the knees across your body. Again, going no lower with the knees than you can keep your right shoulder down. So propping the knees up with your hand, using blocks, using a bolster or blankets, so that when the knees go toward the floor, the right shoulder stays down. Again, knees in toward the chest or further away, whatever feels best. So my twist on my left side is completely different than my twist on the right. And be sure to accommodate and adjust your twist so that you feel no discomfort in the low back, and that the twist is behind the heart up into the thoracic spine. And again, 3 to 5 breaths in the twist. To come out, roll the low back into the floor, and up you go. I'm going to roll to my side and find a blanket to support your knees. We're going to go on to hands and knees to warm up the spine with some cat-cow. So if your knees are sensitive, put a blanket underneath the knees. Bring your hands underneath your shoulders And as you inhale, lift up your chest, find a back bend behind the heart. And as you exhale, round, drop the head, bring the abdominals up and your chest towards your thighs. You can be on the balls of the feet or press the tops of the feet into the floor. And round on the exhale. You can even flip the feet with each rounding and stretching of the spine to stretch the toes, stretch the soles of the feet. Rounding, press the floor away. Feel some abdominal work here. And as you come to cow pose, draw your shoulders away from your ears and press your shoulder blades into your back. Exhaling in cat pose, inhaling in cow pose. Let's take one more round. And now we'll come to modified side plank. Take your right hand, a full palm print forward. So my shoulder is not over my wrist, my shoulder is behind my wrist. Take your left foot back, stand on the ball of the foot and turn the whole foot to the floor. Take your left fingertips back so that you start to find your balance. Press your right hand forward so that it's as though you're trying to stretch the mat. This will give you a little bit of added balance. Draw the core in, the belly in, low ribs in, tailbone towards your back heel. Lift your left arm. If you'd like, you can take your hand to the back of your body and roll the chest underneath you to also help bring your shoulder blade onto your back. If you'd like to challenge your balance a little bit more, you can slowly start to lift the back leg up. Take some deep breaths. And then hand down, knee down, and we'll switch sides. So hands under shoulders, then bring your left hand, a full palm print forward. So my shoulder is not over my wrist. My shoulder is behind my wrist. Take the right foot back, stand on the ball of the foot, turn the whole foot down, come to your right fingertips, stretch the mat forward with your left hand. On a big exhale, start to find the balance. You can take your hand underneath your rib cage, roll the ribs under to pull the shoulder blade flat on your back. Take your right arm up. If balance is difficult, stay here. Draw the low ribs in, draw the belly in, tailbone toward your back heel. If you'd like a little more challenge, firm the thigh, lift the leg. And then foot down, hand down, knee down, child's pose. Take your knees wide and begin to bring your hips back towards your heels. If child's pose is troublesome for your knees, you can stay up high. Take your fingertips forward and lift your forearms off the floor. Begin to sink the chest any amount. Find a shoulder stretch here. And then walk your fingers back. And we'll come up to stand. You can roll the blanket up. We'll use it to stretch our calves in a little bit. Come to standing and let's find a nice tall posture. So imagine you're standing with a basket on your head. So you have something to imagine you're pressing upward to lengthen the spine. Nice long spine. Lift and spread your toes. Bring your feet straight forward. Notice the knees. Don't lock them out. Everyone can lock their knees out, whether you hyperextend or not. So locking the knees promotes compression and ultimately arthritis of the knees. Bending the knees a smidge allows you to use both your upper legs and your lower leg muscles, and it promotes strength and stability for the knees. The knees are pointing over the second toe. They're not collapsing in. They're not bowing out. So plant the feet. All the big toe mound, the little toe mound, the inner heel, and the outer heel. See if you can lift your toes. Use the muscles in your legs to activate your feet. Use your thigh muscles to secure the kneecaps. Hands on your hips, see if you can come to a level pelvis, neither tipping forward nor tipping back. So the thighs are firm, the pelvis is level. Now open the shoulder, the collarbones, so draw the shoulder heads back in space, and then draw the low ribs down and in. So you keep playing with these two, careful not to change what's going on in the pelvis, not tipping the pelvis forward, lifting the chest, opening the collarbones, but rather keep the pelvis stable, draw the low belly in, draw the low ribs in, and then see if you can widen across the collarbones. Now you're pressing that imaginary basket up. See if you can soften anywhere so you're not creating tension, and let your head float on top of your spine. Let's take a few breaths here. Close your eyes so you have some muscle memory. Feel your feet active. Feel the little bend in the knees, just the tiniest bend. Feel your thighs working, your hips level, the low ribs drawing down and in, the collarbones wide, and your head floating right on top of your spine. See if you can come to this posture often, waiting in line. And if you're in a standing position for a while, just shift your weight from foot to foot. See if you can avoid sitting into one hip, locking out a knee, where everything goes in vacation and you round. Kind of like this guy. Even though he's seated, it's the same idea of rounding the spine, extending the head forward, rounding the low back. Anga Bunga Yoga. All right. Tall posture. Let's do a little bit of heel lifts to strengthen the lower leg. All you're going to do, you can have your hands here or here, is just slowly lean a little bit forward, lift your heels off the floor, keep a little bend in the knees, and then slowly lower the heels down, lift and spread the toes, but keep the balls of the feet down. Take a few more like that. Lean forward, lift up, keep the knees a little bent, and the heels lower, lift and spread the toes, press the balls of the feet down. Inhale, coming up, and exhale, lowering down. Two more. Inhale, collarbones wide, low ribs down and in. One more. So do as many of those as you like, and then take your blanket and stand on your heels with the balls of your feet on the blanket for a little stretch for the calf area. Keep a bend in the knees. See if you can find a tall spine here, balancing your head on top of your spine with the collarbones wide and the low ribs down and in. So now we've worked the lower leg for the health of the knees, because the calf muscles attach around the knee to the upper thigh bone. So it's important to keep those strong. It's important to keep your thigh muscles strong because they attach to the kneecap and draw the kneecap up. Your hamstrings, the backs of your thighs, wrap around the leg and attach to the lower leg. So all these muscles contribute to healthy knees. Let's do some balancing and leg strengthening. Hands on hips. You're going to lean a little bit forward. Turn your feet out. Take them about 12, maybe 18 inches apart. Bend the knees. Lean to the right and pick your left leg up. And put the foot down. Lean to the left. Take the right leg up. And down. The slower you move, the stronger you'll get. You'll develop better balance moving with the breath. Inhale to switch, breathe in. Exhale to lift. Inhale to switch. Exhale to lift. Inhale. Exhale. So the breath should match some movement, maybe not the pattern I was suggesting at the beginning, but if you can keep the breath moving, move slowly with control, you'll develop more strength, better balance, paying attention by breathing with intention, taking a glance to make sure that your knee is traveling over the second toe and it's not collapsing in or bowing out. So doing about 10 rounds is a nice amount. Feel free to do more if that calls out to you. You might also feel this in your glutes, which provides stability to your hips. Let's stretch with 3 poses on the floor. I'm going to start on the right leg here with pinwheel. So sitting on my right, I'll be able to lean toward the camera so you'll be able to see what I'm doing. I'm going to create all right angles. My foot to my ankle to my knee to my hip to my knee to my ankle, and foot to ankle. So you're in the shape of a pinwheel. Front leg is my right leg. I'm going to walk out to the right. I'm going to use my left hand to hold my right arm. So holding onto the forearm, I'm creating a twist. Make sure it feels good on your low back. So you can stay 3 to 5 breaths in any one of these poses. Another choice here is to lay onto your right forearm and take your left arm and reach it further, 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 finding a stretch along the whole left side of my body. So the left arm is reaching, I'm resting on the right arm, the same leg as I'm resting on in the front. Right leg, right arm, left arm reaches. And another option is to take your left arm into the air, over your head, reaching. You'll stretch all the under tissue, the underarm, you'll stretch the forearm, the ribs. And now we're all set up for Z pose. I'll do Z pose on my right. I'm just going to spin around so you can see me better. Have your blocks handy. So here was pinwheel. Now I'm going to take my left leg back just a little bit. I'm going to keep the right angle in my front leg so the front shin is not further forward or further back unless it causes some pain or discomfort in the front knee. If you can, keep your front shin parallel with the short end of your mat, creating that right angle at your hip and your knee. If you're getting a deep stretch in your body, your lower body, then stay here. If you start to get a cramp in your outer hip, lean out more to the side. So hunting and pecking your way to your stretch, maybe you start here and pull the chest forward. If you want a little deeper stretch, we go in increments, forearms on blocks. If you feel like you're tipping over, take the blocks over to the side. It's okay to open to the side. If you want more and the blocks are not providing enough stretch for you, come onto your forearms. And the last approach to deepening the stretch is to take the back leg further back. So staying in this pose, 5 breaths, 10 breaths. Count the inhale and exhale as 1 and work your way to a number that you'll do on the other side as well. The third pose we'll do is a twist. So take your front leg all the way in and take your back leg all the way around. You can stand on the foot in front of the shin and sit on both sit bones. If you can stay with your sit bones down and cross your foot over the thigh, you can do that. Or if it's more comfortable, lengthen out the bottom leg. The arm opposite the front leg is going to hug the knee across your body. Your back hand comes behind, tent the fingers, come onto the fingertips, lift the chest up, take a deep breath in, and as you exhale, revolve your chest around the rib cage, the axis of your spine, and reach up through the top of your head, look over the back shoulder. Take a deep breath in, and exhale, twist. Pressing the left sit bone down, draw the knee across the body, breathe in, and twist. And then unwind yourself. Come on to the left side for pinwheel. So your left knee, your hip, your right knee, and your back leg are all in 90-degree angles. Walking your hands around the left. So this time your left arm stays straight, your right hand holds on, and you'll find a twist. About 3 breaths here. You could try forearm down and taking your right arm and reach and stretch all the soft tissue, laying down close to the floor. Soft tissue along the whole right side of my body. And then coming up, my left arm is still on the ground, the elbow is down. And open up, either palm faces the floor or palm can face up, stretching all the tissue on the underside of my arm, the underarm, the chest muscles, the ribs. And then coming up for Z pose on the left. So leaning out, see where you're getting a stretch. If you get a little cramp in your hip, lean out further. If you're not getting enough, you pull yourself forward, one hand outside the knee, one hand outside the foot. If you're going deeper, your forearms go on blocks. And if you feel like you're falling over on this side, take the blocks out to the side. If you want to go deeper and the blocks are not helping you to go deeper, you can put your forearms on the floor. To deepen the pose after the forearms are on the floor, you can take your back leg further behind you. And again, staying in this pose 5 breaths, 10 breaths, 15 breaths, whatever you like, and match what you did on the other side. You might notice that my toes are curled under on this side because this knee has some trouble if I put the whole knee down. So I'm keeping the knee very light on the floor. You could also pad the knee up and keep it bent out to the side. And now we'll go to the twist. Lean out on the left hand, take the right leg all the way in. Swing your back leg around, stand on the foot in front of the knee, and put both sit bones on the floor. If you can keep the sit bones on the floor and cross the foot over, go ahead and do that. Otherwise, another option is to take your left leg straight forward. The opposite arm is going to hug the knee in. So left arm hugs the leg in. The right fingertips go behind. Lift yourself up, deep breath in. And then as you exhale, revolve the rib cage along the axis of the spine. As you inhale, you unwind a little bit, bob up, and exhale. Roll the chest, look over the right shoulder. And take one more breath, pressing the right sit bone down, drawing the knee across your chest. And then unwind yourself, and we'll go legs up the wall for as long as you like. You can make this your resting pose before Shavasana, or this can be your Shavasana. You can do this routine before bed, or you can do this routine first thing in the morning or any time of day. But it works really nicely before bed as well. It's a nice group of stretches. So sitting close to the wall, coming down onto your elbows, rolling onto your back, and pivot your pelvis so that your legs go up the wall. I'm going to bend my knees and lift my hips and put a blanket under my back. I'm putting it right under the sacrum, the big bone on my back, on my low back. not so much the curve. But you can hunt and peck and find what feels best for you. My arms are by my sides, and I'm feeling no difficult stretch in the legs. I'm just fully at rest. Take one more very deep breath in, and slowly let the air out. Let your next breath be unintentional. Let it be small and automatic. It's shallow and soft and quiet. Deep rest. Stay as long as you like.